Okay, here we go. Ever feel like you're running on a financial treadmill? Like you're working harder than ever, but somehow the bills are still piling up faster than you can pay them? You get a raise, think you're finally gonna catch a break, and boom, inflation hits, or the car needs a repair, or something. It's like the universe is conspiring to keep you just one step away from financial stability. Thanks so much, those so-called financial gurus, telling you to just manifest, or cut out your daily latte and you just want to scream, because that's not gonna cut it. We're talking about a systemic problem, not a latte problem. My name is Marcus, and I spend way too much time thinking about economic systems and how they affect the average person. If you're someone who feels like the system is rigged against you, who's tired of being told to work harder when the rules of the game are constantly changing, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Today, we're talking about Venezuela. Now, you might be thinking, Marcus, what does Venezuela have to do with me? Well, hear me out. Venezuela, in many ways, is a canary in the coal mine. It's an extreme example of what can happen when economic mismanagement, political instability, and bad policy collide. And understanding what's happening there can give us insights into the vulnerabilities in our own systems and maybe, just maybe, help us avoid making similar mistakes. We're going to unpack 7 reasons why, even after the so-called Trump intervention. And I use that term loosely because the situation is far more complex than any single political figure. Venezuelans are still leaving their country in droves. Now a lot of people think it's just about socialism. And yeah, that plays a role. But it's way more nuanced than that. It's a perfect storm of factors that are driving people to risk everything for a chance at a better life. First up, hyperinflation. You hear about inflation in the news, right? Maybe it's 5%, 8%, even 10% in some places right now. But hyperinflation is a whole different beast. We're talking prices doubling every few days, sometimes even every few hours. Imagine this, you wake up in the morning, you have enough money to buy a loaf of bread. At lunchtime, that same loaf of bread costs twice as much. By dinner, forget about it. Your savings are literally evaporating before your eyes. Between 2016 and 2019, Venezuela experienced one of the worst hyperinflationary periods in modern history. At its peak, inflation reached an estimated 1,700,000%. That's not a typo. 1,700,000%. I want you to just let that number sink in for a second. Now, the government stopped publishing official inflation figures for a while, probably because the numbers were so damning. But independent estimates paint a grim picture. So, let's do some math. Let's say you had $100 in savings. Sounds like a decent starting point, right? With 1,700,000% inflation, that $100 would be worth fractions of a penny in a matter of weeks. It's not just about not being able to afford luxuries, it's about not being able to afford basic necessities like food, medicine, and transportation. That kind of economic pressure creates desperation, and desperation drives people to leave. Second reason, the collapse of the healthcare system. Imagine going to a hospital and finding it completely empty. No doctors, no nurses, no medicine, no supplies. That's the reality for many Venezuelans. Years of underfunding, corruption, and mismanagement have crippled the healthcare system. Think about it this way, even if you could afford medical care, there is often no medical care to afford. Basic medications are unavailable. Medical equipment is broken or outdated. And skilled medical professionals have left the country in search of better opportunities. The UN estimates that millions of Venezuelans lack access to essential healthcare services. This isn't just about minor inconveniences. We're talking about people dying from preventable diseases and treatable conditions. We're talking about pregnant women giving birth without medical assistance. It's a humanitarian crisis of epic proportions. Third, rampant corruption. Okay, let's be real, corruption exists everywhere. But in Venezuela, it's reached almost unbelievable levels. We're talking about government officials siphoning off billions of dollars in oil revenue money that should have been used to fund public services, infrastructure, and social programs. Instead, it ends up in offshore accounts, lining the pockets of a select few. Think about the psychology here. When people see their leaders enriching themselves while the rest of the population suffers, it creates a deep sense of injustice and resentment. It erodes trust in institutions and makes people feel like the system is fundamentally rigged against them. And when people lose faith in the system, they start looking for ways to escape it. Corruption isn't just a financial problem, it's a moral one. It destroys the social fabric of a nation. Fourth, food shortage and malnutrition. This one is heartbreaking. Venezuela used to be a relatively prosperous country, even a net exporter of food, but years of misguided policies, price controls and agricultural mismanagement have led to widespread food shortage. You see, price controls sound good in theory. The government sets a maximum price for basic goods, making them more affordable for the poor. But here's the thing, when prices are artificially low, farmers have no incentive to produce. They can't cover their costs, so they stop farming. And when supply dries up, shortages become inevitable. And who suffers the most? The poor, the very people price controls are supposed to help. The UN estimates that millions of Venezuelans are facing food insecurity, with many suffering from malnutrition, especially children. Imagine having to decide between feeding your kids and paying the rent. That's the reality for many families in Venezuela. Fifth, political instability and violence. Look, when a country is facing economic collapse, political tensions inevitably rise. And in Venezuela, those tensions have often erupted into violence, protests, riots, and clashes between government forces and opposition groups have become commonplace. And here's the thing, it's not just physical violence we're talking about. The threat of arbitrary arrest, political persecution, and human rights abuses creates a climate of fear and intimidation. People are afraid to speak out against the government, afraid to organize, afraid to exercise their basic rights. And when people are living in constant fear, they start looking for a way out. Sixth, brain drain. This one has long-term consequences. As conditions in Venezuela have deteriorated, many of the country's brightest and most talented people have left in search of better opportunities elsewhere. We're talking about doctors, engineers, scientists, teachers, entrepreneurs, the very people who are needed to rebuild the country. This creates a vicious cycle. As more and more skilled professionals leave, the economy weakens further, making it even harder to attract investment and create jobs. And that, in turn, drives even more people to emigrate. It's a self-perpetuating disaster. It's not just about losing individual talent. It's about losing the collective knowledge, skills, and experience that are essential for a nation to thrive. And the seventh reason, and this is a big one, the illusion of Trump's intervention. Okay, a lot of people in the international community, and especially within Venezuela, place a lot of hope in the Trump administration's efforts to pressure the Maduro regime. But here's the reality. While sanctions and diplomatic pressure may have had some impact, they ultimately failed to bring about the desired outcome. And here's why. First, the sanctions were often poorly targeted, hurting the general population more than the ruling elite. Second, the Maduro regime has proven to be remarkably resilient, finding ways to circumvent sanctions and maintain its grip on power. And third, the international community has been deeply divided on how to address the situation in Venezuela, making it difficult to forge a unified front. Now you might be thinking, Marcus, this is all really depressing. Well, here's the thing, understanding what's happening in Venezuela can help us learn valuable lessons about economic management, political stability, and the importance of strong institutions. It can also help us appreciate the freedoms and opportunities that we often take for granted. And more importantly, it can inspire us to take action to protect our own societies from similar dangers. Because the truth is the seeds of economic decline and political instability can be sown anywhere. It's up to us to be vigilant, to hold our leaders accountable, and to fight for a more just and equitable world. So what can you do right now? Educate yourself. Stay informed about the issues facing your community, your country, and the world. Engage in civil discourse. Talk to people who have different perspectives than your own. Get involved in your local community. Support organizations that are working to promote economic opportunity, social justice, and human rights. And most importantly, don't lose hope. Even in the darkest of times, it's important to remember that things can change. History is full of examples of countries that have overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. But it takes courage, determination, and a willingness to work together to build a better future. Look, I know this was a heavy video, but sometimes you need to look at the harsh realities of the world to appreciate what you have and to understand what's at stake. Venezuela is a cautionary tale, a reminder of what can happen when things go wrong. But it's also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the unwavering desire for freedom, and the enduring hope for a better tomorrow. So thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos on economics, finance, and the pursuit of a better life. And remember, you are not alone in this. We're all in this together. And together we can build a more just and equitable world for all. Now go out there and make a difference. Your actions, no matter how small they seem, can have a ripple effect. Believe in yourself. Believe in the power of collective action. And never give up hope.